Thank you so much for coming. Let's have a cheer for that. Thank you. Marvellous, marvellous. Thank you for being so welcoming. Now, I've established that some of you, lots of you haven't come to the Bamba Bar before, which is wonderful. Some of you have. What I always do, I'm going to introduce the speakers to you shortly, but what I like to do is I like to tell you a little bit about stuff I've done just since the last Bamba Bar. And often that involves a very, very short story because I usually have done nothing. However, this month, in the last few weeks, I have done something. I have been foraging. Has anyone here foraged? Have you been foraging? Oh, is there a couple of hands? Yeah. You see, I did it mainly because of the cost of living crisis. But no, actually, I just decided, I was interested in foraging, and someone said, look, hey, I've got doing a mushroom course, so I thought I'd join on this foraging thing and do a bit of foraging. But I looked up the definition of foraging before I went foraging. And I was quite surprised to learn that the definition of foraging is actually just looking for food. So when I say I went foraging, I actually just went shopping. And essentially, you know, if you go to Sainsbury's or Tesco's, not that I am recommending that you do that, because I have myself boycotted those stores, or any corporations now for a number of years, and they are suffering, let me tell you. I mean, it's a matter of weeks before they will be bankrupt as a result of me not spending my money in their corporations. But no, when you go to a supermarket or a shop, you are essentially foraging, which I think then means that you can, you know, forage amongst the shelves and presumably just leave the store, because that's the other thing that goes with foraging. You pick up the food and you leave and don't pay for it. If they do challenge you, then you would just say that you're foraging. I guess they might say that you're shoplifting, but I think that's just nitpicking, really. I'm not sure as a legal defence that would work, but you could try it. Anyway, I went foraging, and I did a mushroom foraging course. Has anyone foraged for mushrooms? Yeah, well, I tell you, all I wanted to show you, this whole story, is just to tell you that the only thing I learned from my mushroom foraging course was never ever eat a wild mushroom. That was essentially what I learned, because the chief forager, or I'm not sure what they're called, but the person that was doing the course, he would sort of see these crop of mushrooms that were growing, and he would say there, and he'd give them a name, and he said, you could eat those and they're lovely. Great. And then we'd walk on a little bit further and we'd see another crop of mushrooms, and he'd say, what are they? And we would say, well, they're, you know, the name that you gave us for those ones. And he'd say, well, you might think that because they do look exactly the same, but if you look underneath, the gills are, you know, slightly wider, and these ones will kill you in about 48 hours. And you just think, oh, that's, as you know, so now, why would you, and I'm back to supermarket shopping now, it's a whole lot safer, is how it is essentially what I've learned from, my boycott is off, and I know.